First one, Moicano right here. Obviously, you know, from a main event in your last fight, you in UFC 300 before that. Now you have another big pay-per-view. You're on the main card. So I guess, you know, how's life been since that win in Paris to now? Because I feel like you've never been as popular as you have right now.
Yeah, life is good. Bitcoin is almost 100K again. Feeling great.
I saw you taking photos at the airport after your UFC 300. A lot of fans were coming up and asking for your photos. So have you just noticed even more attention since, you know, UFC 300 to now? It just seems like fans are kind of gravitating you. You've built this following online, and, you know, and anytime money is brought up, they always say Money Moicano. So are you just noticing a lot more interest from fans in your life?
Yeah, it's funny, you know. It's funny. I have been in UFC for 10 years, and I didn't have many fans, many people watching me, and now I would not say a huge amount of fans, but some people like my work, like what I say, think I'm funny, and I'm happy with that.
Do you think, are you noticing people that are coming up to you that aren't even fans of fighting, but they just hear your post-fight interviews and they see your podcast and they come up to talk to you about stuff that isn't even about fighting? Yeah,
especially in Brazil, you know, especially people that like Bitcoin and is more like they have a libertarian kind of politics, you know, because I talk a lot about that. So yes, but to be honest with you, I don't care too much. I'm not here to please anybody. I just want money.
Sure. Well, you wanted that money fight against Patty, but you got Beneil instead.
Easy money, easy money.
So what do you make of Beneil? Because I saw an interview you did, and you said, you know, I like the guy, but I'm going to beat his ass.
100%, 100%. Saturday night, I will beat the shit out of Beneil Dariush, and it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know why people call him old, because if they call him old, they call me old, because I'm older than them. So don't call him old. But that being said, Saturday, I'm going to beat the shit out of the old man.
Well, I was going to ask you about...
Don't be mad at me. I'm just trying to make funny. But to answer your question, I like Beneil Dariush very much. I respect him very much. He is dangerous. He has more knockout power than me. He has more knockouts than me. He's very fucking awkward. If you remember his fight against Draca Close, he was almost getting knocked out, and then he was swinging his arms, and he got the guy. Good jiu-jitsu. He's in a tough position, 2 losses, and I'm going to make sure he end up in a worse position, you know, because I will beat him. Doesn't matter if he's good, if he's bad. I cannot afford to lose. I'm going to say the same thing that I say in France. I'm not fucking losing. My mindset is go over there and dominate him. Doesn't matter. If was Islam or anybody, I respect everybody in this division. But like I say, I believe in myself. I'm going over there Saturday, and I will bring my best every time.
We'll kind of go off the age thing that you were joking about people calling him an old man. He said something along the lines of, like, he likes fighting up-and-coming stars, even though you both debuted in the UFC in the same year. And people were kind of commenting about that he debuted in January, you debuted in December. So did you hear that comment, that he's kind of viewing you as an up-and-coming star, even though you've been in the UFC just as long as...
I'm older than you, motherfucker. What you mean? But jokes aside, you know, I have been in UFC for a long time, but like I say, people don't know me because back in the day, my English was not that good, and I didn't have the same mindset because back in the day, I was trying to build the audience like I had now, but I don't know, my English was not that good, but then something changed, and I realized, fuck that. Fuck everything. I'm just going to be myself, and I will enjoy fighting. I will talk some shit, because in Brazil it's very bad if you talk like I'm talking right now. People judge you and they say, hey, you have to be humble and that. But this is the fight game. People want to hear that, you know. People want to hear that you're going to beat the old man, all that stuff that I come up. So right now, I don't care. I just don't care to talk about that.
So why do you think fighters like Jose Aldo, who didn't talk shit and just went out there and fought, have become such a big superstar, but then you yourself, who's been fighting for so long, had to start, you know, talking on the microphone to get all these fans?
I think it's culture, you know, and especially because, like I say, First Amendment here is on the Constitution. You can talk whatever you want. In Brazil, we don't have the same. In Brazil, we have like we don't have freedom of speech in Brazil, and I think that's big part of culture. Even people don't realize 200 years ago somebody thought about that. That's very important to tell what you want, and in Brazil it's not like that politically, culturally. So if we start to talk, people, hey, don't say that, don't talk about that guy, don't do that. And even though we are seeing this in Brazil, we cannot talk what we want, and America, there's another thing, America was built on shows like Broadway, all that stuff. So you guys, WWE, so you guys know how to make promotions, and you guys want to sell tickets. And if you want to sell tickets, you have to bring something, right? People want to buy tickets if they see something that is different, is cool. So I think that's a huge part, like culturally and politically.
When did this kind of click for you? Because I think people view that fight at Madison Square Garden, that post-fight, when you were yelling into the microphone, as the moment this Renato Moicano took over. Was there a moment that it clicked for you that you did have to kind of be more outspoken?
I think was when I fought in Texas, you know, and DC was over there, and I say, I want big checks, big money, you know, and then because that fight, because you have to understand, like, in Brazil, José Aldo, Anderson Silva, all these guys, they were my idols, right, when I was young. And then I say, I want to be like these guys, humble, and do that. So, but then I lost to José Aldo, and I lost to Korean Zombie, and everybody that was cheering for me started to criticizing me on the internet, say, this guy is bad, this guy is a bum, this guy is very bad. And then I realized, fuck the fans, you know? Why I'm here? To make money. And then I want to make money, and then this whole character, this whole persona come up.
And just last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event and co-main event of this card?
Man, that's such... I'm so happy that I'm on the... before these fights, because I can watch live, and I want to start with the co-main event. That's a fight that I'm really interested in watch, you know, because I think right now Merab is the underdog, and Merab being the underdog on this fight is criminal, you know, because Merab beat 6 former champions. He's been dominating the division. He was underdog against Sean O'Malley, and the guy just have one of the best conditions in the UFC, good wrestler, like to put pressure. And the other side, he's fighting one of Khabib's guy, right? Very good, maybe even better than Merab on the striking. But I don't know. I think Merab will beat Umar, but I don't know. And on the other hand, we have this rematch. We have to remember, Tsarukyan got the first fight on a week notice against Khabib prodigy, right? So everybody knew that after Khabib, Islam would be the man on the division, and he did very well. And now he has the chance to get back to get this loss back and to be the champion of the world. This is a very good scenario for him, but Islam is just too big, you know. Islam is the champion. But I don't know. I think the odds are wrong. I think Tsarukyan should be a little bit more respected with the odds.
What do you make of Armin said that if he beats Islam, it's money fights. He wants the fights that'll give him the most money. But he would be the champion of your division, so you might have to work your way up. But he might not want to fight you if you're not this big money name. So, you know, what do you make of the champion might not want to defend titles against?
I think that makes sense, because before this fight week, I didn't know the motherfucker was a billionaire, right? I think nobody knew that. I thought he was just a regular motherfucker, but turns out he has like Lamborghinis and jets and airplanes and all that shit. So that makes sense that he's fighting for sport and legacy. And I think when he become champion, he say, okay, I accomplished my goal. Now I want money. So that makes sense. But let's see. I don't think he's that draw yet that can like fight to have the same aura as McGregor. I was watching these guys on the interviews and stuff, and they are very, they are the same, you know. I don't know if they bring that much attention. Of course, Islam is a huge champion, and he has a huge audience, and he's very good. But I don't know, to UFC start to see you as a potential superstar like he wants to be is not easy. So I don't know. And about me fighting for the belt against him, I don't mind. I don't care. And if it doesn't happen, it's not on my control. My only control is training, show up, say some funny shit, and win fights.
Moicano, back here. So when you mentioned about the losses you had in the past, it seemed to me featherweight was maybe not the best decision if you look back on it. Would you agree to that, or are you glad you tried featherweight?
The thing is, before the featherweight, I did compete on 135 one time. I almost killed myself one time,
right.
But I made the weight. And I don't think the problem was being a 45, because back in the day I was lighter. But to be honest, I think was my mindset, you know. Like I say, I was in 145. I was really good. I got in the top 5. I was one fight away from the title, and I lost to Jose Aldo. And I don't want to take anything from him because he's a legend. But I lost to myself because I remember going to the fight like fearful, you know. Oh, my God, I'm going to fight my idol. I'm going to fight Jose Aldo and this and that. And right now, if I would fight a fight like that again, I'd say, fuck that. He's just a guy, brother. He's just a human. I don't care. I will do my best. So I think the weight division helps because now I don't have to kill myself. But that was no excuse. The weight loss was not an excuse for my losses because I lost on the 155 too.
Right. So it seems like something happened that made you Renato Moicano 2.0. What was it, if you can think back, that went from where you're having some close fights, you're winning some, you're losing some, now all of a sudden you're killing it every fight? Can you tell me what might have changed or shifted?
I think it was when my son born, right? Because he born, and I say, man, I'm fucked. Now I have to take care of him for the rest of my life. I need money. I need like a better house. I need to take care of stuff. So that changed, and then this whole process of that I was talking about mindset and stuff. Because, like I say, fight is very real. If you lie to yourself with fighting, you're going to end up losing again. So I remember old days, fighters that they used to gas out on fighting. They say, no, I have something on my nose. I have to get my nose fixed and you'll be fine. No, this is just a lie. You have to look yourself and say, what you doing bad? What you doing wrong? What you have to correct? And in my case I was not using grappling. You know, I have been training grappling since I was like 11, 12 years old. I have been training grappling throughout my life, but I was not trying takedowns. Now I take down people and I beat the shit out of them, you know, like I did with Benoit Saint-Denis. So in my mind, I start to say, hey, you have to use your grappling. But back in the day, I didn't train wrestling, so I was afraid of try takedowns and get tired, you know. So I work on that, wrestling, conditioning, and now I feel good, you know. I can take somebody down like I did last year with Drew Dober. If they stand up, I will take them down again. And so my thought process was what I need to correct, what I can correct, you know, because some stuff you cannot correct. I'm not gonna be the Mike Tyson. I'm not gonna be knocking people out, you know. It's just I don't have that kind of power to knock people out. So you have to realize, okay, what you can do, you know, what you can do, with what you have. And that's why I think that I change in my mind. I start to look my career as a business, you know. I put all the points and I say what I have to do to get better, recovery, and I did a plan, who I need to fight to put me on a good position, what I have to talk. So I took my fighting career more like a businessman, and I knew I was getting old, so I need to rush, and that's why I'm fighting nonstop.
Excellent explanation. Great English, too, by the way. Really appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
I teach English to myself. That's even impressive,
That's
my brother.
very impressive.
I didn't have a fucking teacher.
That's awesome. One last thing. Can you tell us who's helped you? Who have you trained with for this fight?
A lot of guys. Dustin Poirier helped me for the fight. A guy named Dakota, he used to compete in UFC. He got like a short notice in UFC, and then UFC kick him out, but he's really good. A good southpaw is helping. Good southpaw has been helping me a lot because last year I fought 3 southpaws, and JJ, a Bellator fighter, very good jiu-jitsu. And I have trained with Grant Dawson too, great wrestler. So ATT, we have a lot of people, human material to help me with training camps. But the most important thing was training my mind, what I have to do, the strategy, all that stuff, Everybody can go to the gym and train wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but not thinking about what they have to do. My focus was on the strategy, what I need to do to take this guy out of the cage as soon as possible, and that's what I'm going to do on Saturday.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Renato?
Hey, Renato.
Sorry, Renato. O Beneil Dariush é conhecido pelo grappling afiado, mas você também tem jogo de chão forte. Quem vai dar a primeira jaula de jiu-jitsu em octágono no sábado à noite?
Muchas gracias. Now I'm going to try my Spanish. Acredito que... vou tentar falar em espanhol. Lo acredito? Não, tô brincando. Acredito que meu jiu-jitsu é melhor do que Tsarukian. Not Tsarukian,
Dariush.
Dariush, I'm doing mistake over here. Dariush is a very good jiu-jitsu player. Man, I'm mixing up. Acho que o Dariush é um excelente lutador de jiu-jitsu, mas uma vez que eu colocar ele no chão, eu vou dominar e finalizar.
Perfeito. Você sempre traz luta energia para lutas também fora de lais. Se você pudesse descrever sua estratégia contra Dariush usando uma música, quem e por quê?
Não sei que música descreveria, mas uma coisa eu posso dizer: codo and face.
Thank you.
Hey, Renato. We've got Donald Trump coming into office over here. He's surrounded by crypto people. There's talk about having a strategic reserve in Bitcoin. As somebody who's probably looking at the price of Bitcoin every day, what do you think the price will be at the end of the year if it was 100K at the start of the year?
You spoiling my victory speech, my brother. But thank you so much for that. Thank you for asking. I think the most important thing that you ask is not how much Bitcoin gonna be in price, because that's not what Bitcoin is about. Bitcoin is about private property, ownership, decentralization, less government, and it's not about the price. Because I think Bitcoin doesn't have a top, because fiat currency doesn't have a bottom. We have been losing money to the inflation for so long. I have been living in America for 7 years, and on these 7 years, my purchasing power just collapsed. If you try to afford a home nowadays, you can't, especially young people. So 100% the strategic reserve will be the only way to get out of debt in America. I don't know if you follow economics, but nowadays all states and these welfare states, they get by this debt, and if you see the GDP ratio to the debt is like 136% of the GDP, $36 trillion in debt, and the government cannot pay the debt. They only pay the interest every year. That means they maxing out the card every year and they're getting another card to pay. So the Bitcoin, if they adopt the Bitcoin, if they do a strategic reserve, they could do just like Michael Saylor is doing with MicroStrategy, They could just buy Bitcoin and hold long enough, and with the appreciation of the asset, we could get out of debt, I think that's the only way. I don't see America increase his productivity. I don't see America getting rich, because it's a very hard thing to jump up the productivity. But if Bitcoin start to get the money from real estate, from stocks, for all these other reserve of value, and this money that people put on every stuff to don't lose money to inflation, the appreciation is going to be huge, and this could be help very much America's debt. But we have to see. And I know January 20, Trump gets into the office, and if he is follow his promises that he did on Nashville on the Bitcoin conference, I think the price will skyrocket. You know, if he do what he said, you know, that's going to be very beneficial to Bitcoin. But like I say, Bitcoin was born because of the 2008 collapse with the bankings and the bailouts, and we know about that. We know this is on the Genesis block, on the first block. So it's good if America adopt Bitcoin for America, not for Bitcoin. If America doesn't adopt the Bitcoin, don't create a strategic reserve, somebody else will do, and then the game theory will start, and whoever's buy the Bitcoin first is going to be rich. And I want America to be rich, to be prosperous, and to be the biggest economy for the next 100 years. So I would strongly advise Mr. Trump to fulfill his promises. But who am I? I don't know shit. I'm not a financial advisor. You know, if I can say something to you is try to read and understand Bitcoin in the Austrian Economic School, and understand that money and investments, they should be created by savings, not by debit. And the whole system in America and in the other countries like Brazil, and they say they are democratic, but in reality, this debt is enslaving the next generations, you know. The next generation going to be poor since the 1971, when they end the gold standard. They are just in print money and getting the debt bigger and bigger. And whoever born on the next generation will pay for the debt. So thank you so much for spoiling my speech. Thank you so much.